What a Fiesta Bowl. TCU 51, Michigan 45. We talk about winners first and foremost on this show, but I just want to ask you something. We love padlock stats on Late Kick. If I were to tell you things like, let me pull my stat sheet up here. If I were to tell you 45 points, just that's pretty straightforward in your face stat. Is that going to be good enough for Michigan? No. As it turned out, it wasn't. How about a 527 to 488 yardage advantage? How about 25 to 19 first down advantage? Is it going to be good enough? No, it wasn't. Because we don't play games on this. We play games on these fields behind me. Crazy stuff can happen. Pick sixes. Plural form of pick six. Pick sixes can happen. A lot of crazy stuff can go down when you play these football games. The impossible was possible all along. Look at how I'm gripping this microphone, because it kind of angers me sometimes when people tell you stuff can't happen. I thought Michigan was going to win the game. Certainly I did. But an upset happened, okay? What I want to talk to you about first and foremost is people have told you, this format will never allow a Cinderella story. It'll never allow an underdog. Well, they also told you a G5 team couldn't make the playoff. They did that last year. TCU is the aforementioned underdog or underfrog, and now they're going to the national championship game. Why? Because they played the game. They just went ahead and listened to the doubters and played the game anyway. So a lot stood out to me, and I was at the Peach Bowl in the bowels of Mercedes-Benz Stadium where I am right now watching this game. What can you say about this? A 250 to 1 long shot to win the national title in the preseason. This is not college basketball, guys. That stuff doesn't normally happen. The most stunning thing to me was watching what I expected. After TCU gets down, you expect them to eventually catch fire, and they did. In fact, multiple times, you see the fire get started. The only problem was TCU runs in every time with a fire extinguisher before the thing can really go up in an inferno, and they just put it out. Time after, it felt like 10 times. Michigan responds, and boom, TCU responds right back. Almost like they're yawning, almost like it's no big deal. You're not supposed to be able to do that. People all the time, they tell you, the inexperienced teams, those are going to be the teams that the moment jumps up and bites. The moment bit Michigan. The moment didn't bite TCU. TCU looked like the seasoned veteran team, but I'll tell you something. You can talk about the non-offensive points all you want to. You can talk about any of a number of things that normally attract someone's attention in a football game. Here's the way my eyes saw it. Michigan's edges were not edges. The things that I was most comfortable with Michigan in that led to me picking them to win the game, they just didn't show up. There was supposed to be a decided edge for the Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line of Michigan. TCU said no, not so much. In fact, TCU about 2 yards per carry more on the night, or the afternoon as it were, than Michigan. That's not supposed to happen, especially when Kendre Miller's out for a lot of the game. That's not supposed to happen. It did. That front, both ways, both lines of scrimmage were supposed to be edges for Michigan. They just weren't. A lot of numbers from this game, actually. When you look at TCU's defensive numbers, 13 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, that is supposed to be Michigan's stat line. Again, that's why we play the game. You got to credit TCU for not being bitten by the moment. It happens all the time. You guys know as well as I do, there's a reason we've had a lot of blowouts in these semifinal games, and that's because teams that may be tasting it for the first time end up getting woodshedded. That did not happen here. Also, Max Duggan was not anointed the starting quarterback for this team earlier in the fall camp portion of the season. It's kind of like a Stetson Bennett story from last year. The only difference is we knew about Max Duggan coming into this year. We already seen him play. It's such a great story. Like, they're going to go play Georgia in the national championship game, and you think about the stories, either one of them, Duggan or Stetson Bennett, either one of those stories is good enough to write a book on. But another thing, to switch the gear to Michigan for just a second here, another thing that really surprised me, they did not use J.J. McCarthy like I thought they were going to. Like, I'll do credit to TCU. I thought they left so much on the field, just in terms of what J.J. McCarthy has proven to be able to do with his legs. It's not like a C.J. Stroud thing where he didn't run it all year, then all of a sudden he ran it against Georgia. No, J.J.'s run it all year, and they really, for whatever reason, did not choose to use that weapon. The problem is every expectation for Michigan was predicated off that being part of the arsenal. And another thing, Donovan Edwards, 23 carries, 119 yards, that's a good stat line. It's when they didn't use him. Down near the goal line, for example, they got inside the 5-yard line like twice and got 0 points out of it. Donovan Edwards is down there not touching the ball. That surprised me, but it's not about what Michigan didn't do. For me, it's about what TCU did do. It's an opportunistic team. They've been that way all year. Neither team really should have flinched in the second half because they've both been down in second halves. But, man, TCU, they showed what they've done all year. They didn't do that against Kansas State, but they did it against Michigan. We've got a lot of time to talk about TCU now, as it turns out this week. They're about to, I cannot believe I'm saying that, go to L.A. to play for a national championship. For Jim Harbaugh and Michigan, look, here's the deal. There is a reason why they talk about national championships in this sport the way they do. They're hard to win. There's a reason why when you win one of them, you cherish it for half a century. What Nick Saban's done is not normal. Kirby Smart may win back-to-back. That stuff's not normal. It is so hard, and it's perfectly illustrated by what Michigan just went through. They are nearly a double-digit favorite in that game. They're about to all but punch their ticket to the national championship. No, the game happens. They lose. They don't execute. They get out-coached. Not many people expected that. I didn't expect that, but it happened. And yet you also look, and if I were to tell you in August, hey, 13-0, they're going to beat Ohio State by 22. Are you going to take your chances in the playoff? Of course you would. And that's an improvement. This was a better Michigan season than last year. I know it feels sour. I know it tastes sour right now, but I think the transfer portal is coming Michigan's way, obviously. I think that they lost 2 coordinators and still had a heck of a year. They really didn't miss a beat on that front. They had a head coach go interview for an NFL job, steps right back in, gets right back in the driver's seat, straps in. They have every bit as good, if not better, a team this year than they did last year. It's just sports. It's just the way it happens sometimes. The other guys are allowed to play too, and sometimes it doesn't go your way. I just think that I saw a lot of sourness, and it's to be expected when you lose a game, but as time goes on and that one wears off a little bit, Michigan football's in a really good place. I just think TCU has arrived at the party at the perfect time in the Big 12. Texas and OU may be out of here like tomorrow, and yet you've got a bona fide championship contender growing now in TCU there in Fort Worth. Congratulations to the nth degree to Sonny Dykes and his staff. Sometimes people say, oh, no one believed in us, and it's kind of make-believe. It's really true with TCU. Like, no one believed that they could get this far. Let me go ahead and give you a little preview of the title game. No one believes they can win that one either. But they're going to play it. They're not going to let it happen on a piece of paper. They're going to go ahead and play that thing. TCU over Michigan. What a pair, actually, of semifinal games. Congrats to the Horned Frogs.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me. That's how we keep this entire thing free.